Hello guys and welcome to my channel. I'm Ketra and I am a mixed media artist and junk journal. How are you guys today? So this is going to be, this video is called Treasure and Clay Jars and filled up with fullness. And I will explain that more as I go along. I wanted to share some of my inspiration for this piece, and parts of this video will be like sped up parts, so you know the video doesn't take too long. This video may be filmed across many days because I'm still kind of in the process, and I wanted to video my process because I got some comments in the last video that they'd like to see this process. So I'm just going to go ahead and let's dive right in. I want to thank you to all of my new subscribers. Yay, hello guys. And all my old subscribers and those of you that keep coming back. I appreciate you. So what I did, and this just may be a practice one because I have quite a few canvases that I've already painted on. So this is kind of one of those thick, old. I got this like over 10 years ago. And I gessoed over it because there was something on it before. And I kind of broke up my piece into 3 parts. So this is going to be the wall. I think I want to do a step and then like the cobblestone flooring. And I just wanted to show you the inspiration. Oops, sorry, there you go. The inspiration for the piece, I got it on Pinterest. Can you see it? Sorry if I'm shaking. So something similar. But that's where I'm getting my inspiration as far as the layout. And I know in a previous video I showed you with the stencils, the clay jar and jugs by Estella. But I was messing around with the gel plate and picking up some stuff on a napkin. This is just a white napkin. And I wanted to get a crack in the wall. So I was thinking, I took this off. There we go. So I wanted to lay the napkin down. It's kind of in the color range that I'm looking at. And then put my crack down, and per PM Artist Studio, if you're watching, hello! I got the light and fluffy modeling paste. And I kind of wanted to do the crack in that. And get some texture going. And that's what I know so far. I have a basket of stuffs, maybe to collage with. I also have this tin of buttons that was gifted to me. Look at this goodness. So I may use that for the like cobblestone or something. I'm not sure if I'll use it. I also, some of these you can't see very well. I made my own stencils. This is actually Hebrew, Paleo Hebrew, like the old Hebrew letters. This is Paleo, and then this came before the Paleo, which is the pictures. And as you can see, I'm not sure, stencils are a thing, and I highly recommend, if you don't want to do this to commission PM Artist Studio, just go to the website pmartiststudio.com, and they can work with you on a stencil design for your own personal use. So as you can see, I drew it out, went on my silhouette cutting machine, and of course, I don't know, I get very frustrated with the machine, but you can kind of see where this is cut out. But anyway, I'm going to use this, and that's what I know so far. I may use some of the prints from previous video, but let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to go ahead and just use some matte medium, translucent low gloss acrylic extender. I'm not even sure if this is what you're supposed to use to glue down stuff. Oh, sorry, Roscoe wants to get on the chair. Come on, Roscoe, there you go. But I have been using this to glue down stuff for my collages. So you will hear my puppies lapping up the water. So hopefully you don't mind those puppy sounds. Anyway, how are you guys doing today? I hope you guys are well. So I'm just going to, this is going to be the layers. If I don't like it, I'll just keep building on top of it. And this again might just be a practice run, or it could turn out to be, you know, the piece that I'll sell. So if you're interested and you want to buy it, you can let me know. So I'm just using this because I like the texture. I wanted this to look like old stucco wall. I was practicing some of that on my gel plate, and I got some pretty good results, but I just like the way the napkin feels, and I thought maybe it'd be a little more translucent on the canvas. So, well, I'm just checking it out, and I know people have used napkin and tissue paper in their collages too. So again, that's going to represent the crack in the wall, I think. So this is what I know for sure. Get this down. And I love the wrinkles in the napkin because that kind of gives I want it to look old, like, you know, dirt walls from ancient times, because of where my inspiration's coming from. To me, the message that I'm trying, or my story behind this piece, is as ancient as time as well. And I will talk about my inspiration for this piece too, but I just wanted to get started and not just be talking and showing all the time, because some people just want, hey, get on with it. Okay, so here is that part. So this part here is going to be the step, or the wooden step. So here's my basket of stuff. This was a practice run for my clay jar stencil, but you can't really see too much of it because the colors are not as contrast as I liked it. I've got some other bits and pieces in here. This is another, I thought about using these at least to start the steps because they're brown. I wanted them to be wooden, but I wasn't quite sure on how to do the texture. I've got some of this too, and just some other maybe different brown. Sorry, that is Riley. If you hear him snarfling in the back, I don't know if you know of dogs that have like a toy that they suckle on, you know, to comfort themselves. Well, Riley has a blanket, so he's suckling on his blanket to comfort himself, and he's also snarfly because he's a Boston Terrier and their noses are smushed. So, sorry if that bothers you guys. I am so used to it, I have to remind myself to say something here on camera. Okay, so here are some of the browns, different shades of whatnot here. So I was just going to, should put that on top of there, should I? It's still wet. I really like this. This looks really good. So if I can, I mean, I could do napkin, but then it would be too samey. I wanted a different texture to represent the step. So maybe the top part's a little lighter because maybe light's coming down this way. I could, this is on rice paper, like calligraphy paper. I really like the way that works for collage. It just goes down really flat. So play around here. Might speed this part up if it gets too long. I suppose, well, excuse me, sorry about that. While I'm messing with these pieces, I can talk about where I got my inspiration from for this piece. I recently, let's see if I can find the book real quick, purchased this book called The Book of Mysteries by Jonathan Cahn, I think is how you say the last name. And it's kind of a devotional. You can read a page every day, and it's inspired from the Bible. And it's a pretty cool devotional because basically Jonathan, the whole devotional is about him meeting with a teacher that takes him to the desert and talks about the mysteries of the book, and the book being the Bible. And I was like, that's very interesting, because I've read devotionals before, daily devotionals, and they're your typical, hey, inspiration, here's the Bible verse, and, you know, this could be your takeaway. But this actually tells a story of a teacher and a student, which that caught my attention, because that's a very different way to kind of talk about the Bible that's not so intimidating, or I don't know, whatever feelings you get about that. Some people, you know, have their things with it or whatnot, but for me, I was like, this is going to be interesting. So yeah, each day, of course, you can just, you know, read the whole thing practically in 1 or 2 sittings. It's that good. But I'm going to read you this one part, if you don't mind. If you do, I mean no disrespect, you can just turn off the volume and then just watch without sound, because I want to be respectful to everybody, but also I want to be able to express my beliefs and thoughts too on my YouTube channel, and I am in no way here to preach or judge, but I want you guys to have an idea of where I'm coming from and where my art takes me. So I can read to you that passage. It's pretty neat though. But let me just see here. I was thinking of trying to get the first top of the step lighter, so I could go ahead and glue that down. Let's see if I can multitask and then read to you, maybe. Let's see how talented I am here. And read you this little part. Again, warning for you guys if you just want to turn the sound off. Obviously, no worries. And this passage is called Infinity in a Jar. And so this is how it starts. It was morning, and the teacher came to my room holding a little clay jar. A question, he said. Can that which is little contain that which is big? No, I answered. Can that which is infinite encompass that which is infinite? No, I said again. But it can, he replied. But how? He lifted the jar and removed the cap from its top. It can, he said again. It can if it's open. If it's an open vessel. A closed vessel can never contain anything larger than its own size. But if an open vessel has no limitations, it can now contain the blowing of the wind or the outpouring of the rain. It could even contain the flowing of a river. It would take a long time to contain a river. It could take forever, but the principle is the same. And the reason you're showing me this is, which is larger, that which you know or that which you don't know? That which I don't know, I would think. So then, it's only wise that you seek that which you don't know. Well, I guess. But how do you contain that which is bigger than you? That which is bigger than your ability to comprehend? Well, by becoming an open vessel, I said. Yes, said the teacher. Only by opening yourself up can you come to know that which you don't already know. And only by becoming an open vessel can you contain that which is greater than yourself. The truth is always greater than our knowing. Your mind and heart are finite. They're clay jars. But the truth has no end. God has no end. The eternal is infinite, always flowing. Like the river, I said. Yes, he said. But when the jar opens itself up, it becomes unlimited. It can contain the waters of the river. So open now your mind, your heart, and your life, for it is only the open vessel and an open heart that contain the infinity of God. So that just hit me really hard. And a lot of my art, some of it I don't show here on YouTube, but I do create a lot of art that's inspired by the Word of God and my faith in Jesus. So I just wanted to share with you this book. If you're interested, I will link it in the description below. But yeah, this is where my inspiration came for this piece. And when I saw Estella's jars, her clay jars, and what's it called? Clay jugs and jars or something. I'll link that too in the description below. I immediately wanted to make this piece. So there you guys have it. That is the inspiration for Treasure in Clay Jars. So I think this is working out really good. I love the way this is coming together here for the top part of the step. Goodness, Riley. Okay, so there's this. And then I think, so that's the top of the step, and then you got the inside, which is going to be darker. I may use these pieces. So I'm going to put you on fast mode here and piece this together, and you can watch or fast forward, whatever, you know, obviously you guys know that. I may just piece this like this. I need to feel like I'm back. Sorry for moving the camera there. I went ahead and try to give you guys a close-up here. So you can see, I know the jars are going to go on top, and I could possibly paint over it too, but it kind of just gives me some sort of, I don't know, kind of like, I guess, an outline or under painting or texture. So that's, I'm going to leave it like this. I'm going to let it dry, but while we're letting it dry, I can show you. Hi, Matisse. Oh no, you saying hi? I'll be with you in a few minutes, Matisse. So let me just show you everything's flying. If you watched my previous video, then you saw me do these, and I think I may go ahead and try and use them and cut them out. So I do like these two. Of course, I can always go in with colored pencil or paint markers or something and define them a little more. So I do like that. This one's pretty neat too. I love this. I've got this one, if you remember from the video past. I cut that out. It still needs some definition, I think. I've got these ones. This, I loved my idea, but it didn't translate. So it could be some good texture. If I have to paint over that, I could use some of this. This also would be good, what do you call it? Collage too. But you can barely see the jar there. So that, I'm gonna let this dry. I'm gonna cut these out and we'll be back and we can kind of arrange. Actually, you know what I did? I took a picture when I was messing with it. I can show you guys what I'm learning now to take pictures of kind of the, oops, sorry guys. Let's see if I can, there we go. Turn. You can kind of see my sketch. It's kind of how I want the jar. So I'm going to go ahead and let that dry, get some of those cut out, place them around, see if I'm going to use them. And I'll probably go ahead, as you're watching, glue these down and then work on shadows and stuff. All right, so I do like the placement of the clay jars. I don't like the colors. So I went ahead and, excuse me guys, sorry about that. I went ahead and took a picture so that I know the placement again. I'm gonna redo these. And I think I want to do them in lighter colors, kind of to match the lighter vibe of the wall. But I love that, you know, I went ahead and collaged a little more on here. You can see, added some more of my gel prints on wet strength tissue, trying to work out the step a little more. The nice thing about it is I'm going to put this jar here so you can't really see. I kind of wanted this to be a little more blended, like it kind of goes into the wall or kind of fades. I'm not really sure. Anyhow, try to define the step. If I don't like it, I'll just paint over it. Now I just lost my train of thought. Oh, I just wanted to show you, I pieced it up here. I was trying to define the step a little bit. What else? I am going to use Light and Fluffy for the cracks. And there's another crack in the wall. Thinking I want to blend it more here. That was supposed to be the shadow. I got some black wet strength tissue. So I was using that to kind of create the shadow. You know, even though I'm using the colory pieces for my collage, I could paint over it. I'm struggling. I'm having a fight with myself that why put down a pretty background when you're just going to paint over it? I'm starting to get it. Because sometimes if it doesn't work out, you just paint over it and you keep working that layer and not giving up. But I do like where it's going, so I am going to pause the video. I'm going to redo these jars. I want them to be lighter. As you saw in the last video, like I said, these were just the playing around with the new stencils. So that will be the next clip that you see. Like I said, this process is going to be filmed over a few days. But for you, it'll just be one video, okay? I'll see you in a second. Okay, guys, so the last clip you saw probably was filmed about a month ago. And in between that, I was working on how to get these clay jars onto this canvas. You saw probably parts of this. I worked on this a little bit more, trying to create a step. And then I found a, oh, there it is, I gotta find it. Kind of like a cobblestone. I'm gonna put down here for, this is like the cobblestone, and then these are the steps the jars are gonna sit on. And within that month, I tried different ways to gel print these jars. While they look great on their own, like as on a piece of paper, just like as a picture, but to really get them to be like a collage item, I realized I probably, as much as I love the stencil, that I probably could have used a stamp. So I did these on the gel plate and then came in with some watercolor and colored pencils. So then I left for vacation for 2 weeks, came back, saw these, and I was like, I'm not real happy with them. They're okay. I may use them, I'm not sure. So then I hopped back on my gel plate again and just created some backgrounds. And the paper I use is like toilet paper covering, like Ultra Plus toilet paper. It makes really good collage because it's like tissue paper, but it's a little bit stronger. So I gel plated some just earthy tones on here. And I thought, well, why don't I do frottage? So I got my trusty old crayons and I used black on this one. No, is this gray? I don't know. I used black and gray crayons to create this look. So I'm going to show you really quick. I just have a board with a sheet protector on the top. And is this the one I did the, let me make sure I'm not doing the same one twice. Nope. Okay, so we're going to frottage this one with the crayon. And I like using the black, but let me zoom you in real quick. I know it's nothing new, I think this is the solution I'm looking for my my collage for these jars. So I'll just show you what I did. Again, I'm on I used the Amazon tissue covering for the toilet rolls. I just kind of gel plated some earth tone colors, put this down to kind of make sure, kind of like the variation of color, press down and go into town. So the last clip was a month ago, and in that time I spent probably a good week trying to gel plate, like I said, these jars. They were looking good on single pieces of paper, but when I cut them out, I don't know, I just couldn't get it to work. But then my husband and I had to go on vacation. So my father died about a year ago, and so he is from California. He was from California, and he was moving from California to Missouri. He sold up. But anyway, he had 6 pod storage, the storage pods that we had to go through in California. So we decided to make a trip out of it. So we were gone for about a week and a half, almost 2 weeks, and it was a wonderful trip. We got to see California, New Mexico. My kids live in New Mexico. And we went through Arizona, Nevada, Colorado. So that was a fun trip. And then our family that we were helping out bought a house. So they're moving out. So it's just been super busy. And I'm sorry this video is taking a long time to video. So let's go ahead. I'm thinking, because it's tissue paper, and I don't think you can take any more on it, like tear it apart. I think it's just the one piece. And you might be thinking, if you compare the two, these look more interesting. But when I put them down, I'm just not sure. So I'm going to play with both. I could use them all, but I don't know. I guess because my thoughts were it blends in too much on my collage. Like, they don't stand out. They're too samey. Were my thoughts on these. I like that one. Like, I don't know. It just didn't look right. Like, this one's pretty. So that's why I want to see, because I'm taking you through my thought process. I just can't decide. So basically what I did here before I went on vacation is I just gel plated the stencil and then didn't do anything else. Just made it pretty much one layer on book paper, and then I went in and colored with colored pencil, watercolor. That was okay. So let's see if these are any better. See which ones you like. Now, what did I do with them? Anyway, let's just start with this one, because I don't know what I did with them just now. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and take this away, and I'll set this up to get it so we can. Okay, so I'm just gonna use the water brush, the brush and water technique, to see if that isn't such a harsh line when you're laying down your collage pieces. We'll see if this, I don't know if it's going to work because it's acrylic. I may have to tear, or can I do it on the back side? I can't really see it. So all new to me. So this is wonderful tissue paper. If you happen to order your toilet paper online, this Amazon paper is amazing stuff. So that isn't going to work. So we'll just cut it out. But I had a lovely time on our trip. I suppose maybe if I try to tear it here. So some of my favorite parts of the trip, of course, was seeing my kids. My oldest son lives in outside of Albuquerque in Los Lunas, and he just recently got married to a lovely lady named Crystal. And they're doing well and thriving. And doing, you know, newlywed couple stuff. So that was neat to meet her. Let me get one of these little rulers. And then my youngest son and his girlfriend, who live in Santa Fe, wanted to go with us to California because my son Trevor and his girlfriend Morgan really wanted to check out California and LA and all that. Now, I've been to California quite a few times and I've done quite a few touristy stuff up there, but I was like, yeah, come along. So they came with us. They followed us from New Mexico into Arizona. And of course, my husband being from Ireland, we drove when we first were together from basically New York State to Kansas. So that would be like halfway across the United States. And we always talked about finishing that trip out so that he can say that he's gone across the US. So this was a great opportunity. So we drove through Arizona into California, through the Mojave Desert side. And it was rough because it was hot and it was straight highway, and the gas prices on that road into California, in my eyes, was highway robbery. Highway robbery to the literal degree, because it was like $8 a gallon. But once you got into California, it got cheaper. So they totally took advantage of travelers on the California Mojave Desert area. So we stayed at my Uncle Peter's. Him and his wife Petra, rhymes with my name, Ketra. She's lovely. And hung out with them. And then me and the kids headed up to LA. I really wanted to stay safe, so I said we need to go to the Rodeo Drive, Beverly Hills area. And I thought they would get a kick out of seeing how the other half live. So we went out early, I think it was July 3rd, down to LA. And I will tell you, the traffic wasn't as bad as I thought. I was very nervous, thinking, oh, LA traffic, it's crazy. It really wasn't, guys. They are pretty friendly. They do that commute every day and they let you in, and they're not real a-holes on the road. So that surprised me. So we made our way to Beverly Hills. We parked in a car park and then just bebopped around. And Trevor wanted to go into the shop Chanel. And I was like, really? Who knew you were a fancy guy? So we waited in line to go into Chanel. I felt really odd because, that's a designer brand. It's in all the magazines. I am not buying anything in there. Obviously, I don't have that kind of money. But I think Trevor just really wanted to go in there. So we went in there, we waited in line, and then we got our own personal shopper. And we met a really nice guy. I'm trying to remember his name. One second here. Spencer, I believe. Let me fact check that. One second. Indeed, it was Spencer. Hi, Spencer from Chanel, if you're watching. Anyway, I'm just going to gloat about this experience. So, of course, it's everything that you can imagine going into a high-end designer store in Beverly Hills. The minute you walk in, it smells expensive, of course, right? So, yes, Matisse. So we went in, and Spencer was amazing, friendly, wasn't very intrusive, just says, hey, I won't be too far away, just walk around. If you have any questions, let me know. And I'm like, wow, this is crazy. The stuff is amazing. It smells good in here. I was going through the clothes, and they were high quality, just very good material. The handbags were well made, the jewelry, everything. And then we came to the perfume counter, and of course, I'm a sucker for good smelling things. And I was like, oh, they have these little bottles of perfume. I wonder how much they are. So I was spraying some sprays, and thought to myself, I'm going to buy myself one of those little bottles of perfume, thinking they weren't going to be that expensive because, you know, it's a small bottle. But then again, it's Chanel. So anyway, I was like, yeah, Spencer, I want to buy some perfume. I want this one. It was a small, I can't remember the ounce. It's like, okay. And then the guy that did the perfume counter came and told me it was $300, and I gulped. And I was like, oh my gosh, I have never spent $300 on a perfume or really any article of clothing, or that was very luxurious. But I decided to go ahead and go for it, and I bought my perfume. And I tell you what, it was the pure perfume in the bottle with the little dabber. It's not the spray. So it was like, what do you call that? The like real, the word is escaping me. I'm just going to call it pure perfume, not like watered down spray stuff. You know what I mean. So Spencer got the bottle and wrapped it in my Chanel bag with a few other little goodies. And he also gave me these little magazines. So it's basically like a magazine of their fall collection, because their fall stuff was out even though it was July and summer. So he gave me 3 of them because I told him, oh cool, this is good art material for my art. I do, you know, gel printing or mixed media and journal maker. And he goes, cool. And he gave me one, Trevor one, and Morgan one. And I will show you in a minute the magazine. It's like cool. But he treated us so well. I felt so pampered. He was so nice. And it was such a wonderful experience. Low pressure, like, you know. I don't know. It was just a cool experience. I think the kids really liked it. And so we were about to leave, and Spencer says, hey, text me your YouTube channel. And I was like, really? Are you serious? Okay. So I waited a few days to text him. I think I texted him on 4th of July, and he responded back. So Spencer, if you're watching, thank you for being a love and doing that. It made my day. So we have Spencer from Beverly Hills who has subscribed to my channel. So hopefully you will enjoy my content. But anyway, yes, Beverly Hills was one of my favorite places to go. We went into a bookstore, which was mostly a kind of like coffee table books, you know, the big books and their glossy pages, and, you know, and it was really neat. And when I walked in, I thought I saw Keanu Reeves. I didn't know if it was him or not, but I just kept going because I didn't want to be intrusive. And then I was kind of got squirrel with the books, like books, famous person. Well, I wanted to see what was going on with the books there. And I forgot that he was there, possibly. I don't know if it, and as of this video taping, I don't know that that was him or not. So I looked around, very cool stuff. Good price points for, you know, all different, I guess, levels of price points, you know. So the books weren't all outrageously expensive, so I couldn't decide. I really wanted to get a coffee table book, but I think at that time we were tired and kind of ready to go. But so the people that worked there thought they saw him as well, and they weren't sure. I will leave you with this. I thought Keanu Reeves drives around on his motorcycle, and I didn't see a motorcycle parked out front when I walked in, so I don't know if it was him. So I'm not sure. The kids saw some famous TikToker, but he is in a band, and I can't remember the name of the person, but he was across the street from us as we were walking across. And then they looked him up and said, yeah, that was him. And I said, well, if you would have let me know, I would have walked up and said, can you get an autograph for my kids? I don't have any problem doing that. Anyway, so it was a really fun day. And then the next day, my husband and I went back into LA. He didn't really want to go and walk around. He just wanted to go get a picture of the skyline. And we saw the exit for, what was the name of that street? Okay, so I did this one on wet strength tissue paper, and I picked a more brighter color here. So I'm not sure if I'm going to like this or not. So I'll have to sit and have a play and decide so I can get this collage done, because I'm working on 3 other collages too, and I want to share those. I've never shared those on my channel. They are just portrait girls, collage and mixed media. So I've got a couple of canvases waiting to have art put on them, I guess you could say. So Sunset Drive, that was the street. So we took a ride off onto Sunset Drive, and then we're like, oh, let's get something to drink. We stopped at a gas station, and while looking for a gas station, we saw Chinatown. Of course, it was Sunday, and it was, no, was it 4th of July? No, it was 4th of July, so nothing was really open. So we kind of drove a little bit through Chinatown in LA. That was really cool. Got a few pictures, and then we said, let's keep going. And we stopped again because I had to go to the bathroom. And we stopped at, I can't remember the name of the street, but the Paramount building was there. And not the Paramount in Hollywood, but the main office on Sunset Drive. So that was pretty cool. And then I'm like, oh, I'm not going to turn left out of this street. I'm going to turn right. And as we turned right, we saw the Hollywood sign. So it was just a wonderful afternoon of stumbling upon some cool places that we hadn't planned on going. We just kind of wanted to, hey, let's drive into LA and see where it takes us. And since it was a holiday, the traffic wasn't too bad. So that was fun. We also drove from California into Nevada, and we were so taken aback by Nevada. Like, of all the states, I never figured I would like Nevada. It was wonderful. It was clean. The streets were just, I don't know, everything about it, just the vibe of Nevada. Never in a million years would I think I'd be saying that. We stayed at a really cute hotel. It was like an old Western town out in the middle of nowhere. But this hotel used to be an old bank, and they redid it. And they tried to keep it to period, like the 1930s. And then across the street was a famous hotel called the Mitzvah. And that was supposedly haunted, but we had to go to pet-friendly hotels because we brought our 3 dogs, and they traveled so wonderful. But that hotel was my favorite. And then we drove into Utah, and that was pretty cool because we saw the back end of the Grand Canyon. We really wanted to go to the Grand Canyon, but we kind of needed to get back because it was going to take us some time traveling. But we did see the end part of Grand Canyon through Nevada. And the neat thing, not Nevada, sorry, Utah. And the neat thing about Utah, which was unexpected, is they go the speed limit. When we go through the little towns, we were going over a bridge, and one of the officers was going exactly 30 miles, like literally 30 miles. It was driving me crazy because, you know, I'll go like 2 over maybe. I try to keep it to the speed limit. But I tell you what, they all went exactly the speed limit. And the neat thing is on the major freeway, it was 80 miles an hour. But Utah was very pretty, very pretty. And then we drove into Colorado because we really wanted to go to Colorado Springs because it was last minute and we have 3 doggies. We got an Airbnb outside of Colorado Springs, and then my husband and I went up to Pikes Peak, and that was amazing as well. If you want to test a relationship, have one of you drive up Pikes Peak and have the other one of you drive down and see if you guys don't trust each other, because that was a crazy drive. Anyway, here we are. Hope you didn't mind my little vacation update here. So here are the frottage jars. Yep, there it is. Okay. I'm gonna reset and zoom you out, and we're gonna see what it looks like on the canvas. All right, so I took a picture when I was playing around with it last time. And I think even though these are much prettier, it stands out. I don't know, I think it's because it's more subtle. They look more, I kind of wanted them to look more like really old, not newer, shiny vases. So let me show you this, and then I'll put these on top like this and see if you might agree or disagree. Like I don't know if it takes away, I'm not sure, because if I put the shinier, more detailed, well, that one's not done. This one, yeah, they do look more distinct and all. Let me see, I feel like there's too much of a spot there. What did my picture look like? So that's kind of how I had them arranged. Not sure if I like the arrangement, and I didn't think this piece was going to be so difficult. I had a vision of it in my head, and then as I went to do this, I was like, ugh, there's something about it. So that's the ones, obviously, with the regular gel print with more shiny paint, watercolor, and colored pencil. Then if you take these off, it's a little more subtle. Like it kind of maybe blends too much into the background. But again, I can still come in and do some shadows with my colored pencil and make it a little more 3D instead of so flat. Obviously give shadows to where they are sitting on the step and down here. And then maybe if I get this cobblestone area done. And again, this is kind of a dry run, just kind of to see how this is going to turn out. So I'm really torn right now. I like the kind of earthiness. It doesn't blend in too much to the background, but it doesn't take away. To me, it matches more the color palette. Then if I put this on here, although they're pretty, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. That one's not done, of course. What do you guys think? So by the time I publish this video, this will be done. I think this is one I was working on. No, that's not it. That is it. This was another, but the paint kept coming off. I was having real problems with my gel plate before I went on vacation. I don't know what it was. This one turned out cool if I could get all of them to look like that. And of course, if you do gel printing, you know it's hard to duplicate and do the same thing over again. I even wrote my steps down. I don't know, I was pretty frustrated with this before I left for vacation. So I'm just not sure. So I think what I'm going to do now is sit and think about it, take a picture of it, maybe use some colored pencil in here, and we'll come back and see how far we got with this process of the clay jar. Okay, I'll see you in a second. All right, lovelies. Hello. It has been about a week now since I talked to you last, which was a second ago. And I apologize. This video is taking, excuse me, Riley. Sorry, I had to reposition the camera. I hope you guys don't mind the windows right here. And so hopefully that doesn't bother you. Okay, so first off, I decided to go back with my watercolor gel printed jars. I had to make a decision. I want to get this piece done. I procrastinated. I've overthunk all of this. And maybe you guys who make art or makers of any type of anything can relate to that. So I'm going with this. We're going to glue it down and just see how it goes. But first, I want to do the pebble flooring. So I have this stencil, just a paper stencil. So, and I would like to just put this down and use the Light and Fluffy modeling paste. Now I've played around with it. It's pretty neat stuff. And like Patricia says, you kind of gotta, I can't exactly remember what she says, but from what I know, you kind of gotta work quick. We'll see how this works, guys, so let's go for it. So, guys, what a time to be living in the world today. Like I mentioned earlier, our roommates moved out. We're getting kind of our stuff moved back into its places, you know, back into the rooms and stuff. And well, I'm sure you guys are all aware of what's going on in the world right now. But what a time to be living in, guys, without getting political or spiritual in any way. But oh my gosh, crazy times we are in. I never thought even in like 4 years ago that I'd be witnessing so much history in this world. I'll just leave it at that. But I did want to mention one of the, and I can't remember if I've mentioned it on here, I did a piece. It was a portrait piece, not of anybody, just of a girl. And on her lips I wrote, "Are you watching?" Oh, and I'll put the piece up here so you can see. I sold it like within minutes of my craft show. And I'm going to be doing more pieces like this. And the reason I mention this is because my front room, right now my studio is in the back sitting room or the back living area. And so I'm sharing my studio space with the living room. But the front room, which is like the front living room, I guess you could say, the front living room. My husband, who's from Ireland calls it the front room, and this is the back room. But anyway, so I'm going to make that into my painting studio. So you're going to tear up the carpet, put some vinyl flooring down, paint the walls. Kind of, I can't decide if I want to do a bright white, because that's where I want to do a lot of my painting, get my easel set up. I even ordered a tripod to put my iPad on so that you guys can see my process videos of those paintings. But I'm super excited, so I've been kind of working on that. Just trying to get things back in order, our house back in order, so to speak. So, all right, I think I'm okay with this texture going on. There's a little bit, let me get, I don't have any of my baby wipes, but we'll, I think I need to get some of this off here. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Woohoo. All right, I like that. Let me clean this off real quick. Let this dry, and then we will glue the clay jars down onto the canvas. All right, so I got the Wet and Fluffy, pretty dry from my heat tool. I went ahead and forgot that I was going to do the cracks. I was thinking maybe I should have done that first and then put the tissue paper down, but that's okay. And then here is the stones, fairly dry, not 100%, but at least dry to the touch. Make sure you're still in shot here. Okay, so now I have my stencils that I talked about earlier. So I think I'm gonna do an I hope this works. Archival ink, acid-free, permanent waterproof. Wasn't sure. I think I'm gonna go with the old first paleo. I don't know if it's called paleo. I have to look it up. I can't remember Hebrew. I think this is paleo, and that's before. This is before this one. Just to give it an ancient feel. Because, you know, when people do their archaeology digs and they find you know, old writing on the walls is kind of what I wanted to go for. And the writing I wanted to be true as you can get to the Bible. And for me, God's language was Hebrew. I may be wrong in that, but I'm pretty sure. So I figured that's God's language. Let's go back to the very beginning. So I don't know if I should place the... Okay, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let me place the jars. Maybe? Does it matter? No, it doesn't matter, because even if the jars cover up some of it, it's more I don't want it to take away from the focal point. So, let's see how this works. I don't know if this is probably the best sponge because I'm getting it over here, but we're gonna go with it. Let's go with it. Let's not be afraid to mess it up. I don't know if I read it or heard it. Maybe you've heard it too. This is, I think, regarding to painting, that one should try when they're painting and they really love it, and then just cover it all up and start again. That is crazy thought. One day I think I'm gonna try it just to test my artistic soul there, and see if I can even fathom doing that. Might be a good exercise in fearing making mistakes. Let's see. Okay, that looks pretty cool. That worked out better than I imagined. Let's smooth this over here. I think I'm gonna go to a different sponge because maybe not. Never mind. Let's just go with it. The texture might change a little bit. If you're interested in what these symbols mean, the old Hebrew language, it is online. If you're interested, I can direct you to the link where I got the old Hebrew letters, language. If you're interested. Okay, that looks pretty good. Shall we bring some up here? I'm gonna bring this down so you're not seeing, my head doesn't get in the camera. I am considering asking PM Artist Studio to cut me a stencil for this, but I thought I'd play around with it first because I'm really picky about my stencils. I love stencils. I just really just want to have the stencils that I really, really like to use. Instead of having a whole bunch of stencils and then going, oh, I forgot about this one, I forgot about that one. Plus, I was trying to figure out, you know how most artists have their little signature style, and they usually have their little mark that they make that is recognizable. You know, their little signature mark or whatnot that says, hey, I know that artist because she or he always uses this in their paintings or work. Okay, that turned out pretty good. Now we have this space. We could intermingle some of this. Why not? And again, some of it may lose some of its, what do you call it? You might not be able to see it when I paint over the, like the, I kind of wanted to paint over the crack in the wall a little bit. Give it some lights and darks for shadows. So we may lose some of it, but I'm okay with that at this point. I can always go over. But I'm pretty excited how this is working out right now. Hopefully I'm not doing this backwards. I don't think I am. Maybe we should put that one there. I think this is backwards. Oh well. I think it's supposed to go this way. It is. Darn it. Okay. Well, we'll just have... Okay, so only you and I know on this video that that was backwards writing. This was forward, so oh well. It is what it is now. As much as I hate saying that, I don't like that phrase. We are gonna go with it. Okay, so shall we get my stencils out of the way? Let's put our jars down. Get my photo ready. Here it is. Sometimes you just have to make a decision or you will be fiddling with your piece for too long and then never get done. And I really, really want to get this piece done. Why do I feel like I'm missing one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. No, I'm not. Because this one's just right here in my hand. That one was up here. That one was here, and this one was here. So something like this. But I guess I should look at this one more time. Okay. I'm thinking it would be good to do the stones before I put this down, but I just kind of wanted to get an idea. Something like that. Because, you know, this is the stone, I can't have this here. It would be floating, so it needs to be anchored down here on the floor. So far, so goody. I like that so far. So, let me figure out the paint. It's probably going to be a light brown. I'm going to brush over this. Hopefully it works. And I'll be back with you in a second. Okay, so I'm taking some white, a mixture, which is this color here, and this, I don't know the color, I'm just calling it kind of a mustardy color. I'm going to mix it up on my palette here. I think I need more white. And my thoughts were to brush it on the cobblestone. Oh boy. Maybe that's just the amount I need. Who knows? And then kind of brush it on and then kind of wipe it off. And I feel like I need to, I don't know, that's not the color I'm looking. I feel like I need more white, like a sandstone maybe. Oh, well, let's just go with this and I can always paint. And I'm just using my jelly plate as a palette. That way, whatever leftover paint I have, I can pull a print or something. So here we go, guys. We're going with it. We're gonna go with it. We're going. And you hear my snory puppies again. Guess I didn't need to mix up that much paint, huh? Okay, so now just going to get my cloth, see if I can't hopefully not mess this up. I'm not sure. That is the look I'm going for, but we're going with it. Okay, not too awful. Because I can go in and define these stones with paint. I'll probably do that off camera. It'll take too long. This video is already long. I think I'm just going to put some paint on my rag here. Excuse me, guys. Sorry. See if I can't add some highlights. So you guys kind of get the picture. I'm just going to build up these stones with some paint. Oh, good golly, look. I'm going to build up the stones, and I will be back with you. If you're interested in seeing these kinds of processes with me, that's great. It's kind of painful. It takes me a while. I change my mind a lot, but I guess who doesn't? Okay, guys, I'm going to work on this, and we shall return. Okay, so I'll just bring you up. You can see I worked on that crack a little. Turn it a little. Tried to blend it in. I may work on it a little more. I'm not sure. Here's the other one. Sorry. And my doggy snoring. And then the stones. I suppose I could just do this to have you see. Close up. Look. And then I'll have put this down. And you can see it from far away. Okay, so liking it so far. Once I get these down, I'll have the shadows. I'll paint very lightly the shadows of the jars so it doesn't look so flat. Okay, so I thought, okay, they're spread out. No, it doesn't look natural. I kind of wanted them grouped. But then I feel like it's over to one side. I don't want it all in the middle. You know, composition is everything. Right? So, but I don't want it so staged. But just the way the step is, I maybe should have had it smaller, made the step smaller, but we're going with it. Do that. And we could, that one going up, like up against the wall. This one in the middle, this kind of here. Maybe up here. I don't even know if they should overlap. Still seems to okay, let's just bring this forward. Even if we want that one forward, maybe we could turn it. But then that blends in. I think that's why I put this one here. I don't know. I could have that one falling. No. Kind of, I don't know. I'm going to play around with this because I could sit here and interview all of these, so I'll be back. Okay, so this is what I decided. It is a collage. I think they all need to be touching each other, not spread out, not in the center, not too far to the right, not too far to the left. So I'm going to go with it. I'm going to glue it down, guys, finally getting the jars down. So I'm going to do that off camera for the time and sake of this video. Okay, so as you can see, they are glued down. Excuse me. I'm going to definitely have to go back in and make them pop. They are definitely flat. So like with the stone, make them, you know, their shadows, lights and darks. Probably accentuate the design of the jars much better. But I have to let this dry 100% before I start coloring on it again. Or painting on it. But so far, guys, I'm very pleased. So after that, then I've got to work out, because the name of the piece is Treasure in Clay Jars Filled Up with the Fullness. So I got to figure out how the filled up with the fullness is going to translate. And then I'm thinking I may need to put Treasure in Clay Jars on here. Maybe not. I'm not sure. That's where we're at, guys. And I might be back in a few hours, a couple days, a couple weeks, not sure. I'll let you know in the next clip. All right, I'm back, and look, I finished it. It took me a few days. So this is what I came up with. These layers took on, I don't know how many layers. Like, I didn't like it. I'll just turn it. Sorry, guys, I keep bumping the camera. I just kind of wanted you to see. There's some metallics in there, but I'm pretty satisfied with it. It isn't exactly what I had in my head, but I'm happy with the way the information to fill yourself up, to be open, this part, which would be this part, to represent that, but not be exactly like the clay jars, but kind of stand out. So the last part of this piece, I need to do some writing. I'm going to put treasure, treasure, I forgot, in clay jars here with the verse. And then I'm going to put filled up with the fullness there. Filled up with the fullness. So here we go. You can watch me do the final touches. I may, you know, add maybe a few more shadows in here. As I look at it, I see things I need to kind of bring balance to, or some lights and darks, but that just usually happens after I step away from it and then go back to it to see. And so here we go. We're going to put Treasure in Clay Jars down here, just in case people love it but maybe don't understand the message, but without telling people the message, because you want people to maybe take away from it their own. But sometimes people want, like myself, a little bit of a nudge. And I'm doing this in Sharpie because I can't find any other medium at this point on what to use. I do have a really nice, let me see if I can find one close by. I'll just, these jelly rolls, but they're not thick enough. I could use a Posca pen, but I don't have much. Look, I may, you know, beef this up a little bit somehow and maybe try to make these letters pop as I look at it more. So, but for now, this is where it is. Treasure in Clay Jars. And for reference, if people are so inclined, if they would like to be or know where this verse comes from, that was my inspiration. Of course, God and Jesus are always my inspiration. This comes from 2 Corinthians, so let's try to, this probably isn't gonna, nope. I guess I'll have to try to write it small with this one. 2 Corinthians, R-I-N. I don't want to spell it wrong. 2 Corinthians 4:7, which reads, "Now we have this treasure in jars of clay to show that this surpassingly great power is from God and not from us." So that'll be there. I'll probably maybe highlight, like I said. And right here, I want to put filled up with the fullness, because that's kind of what these, well, not kind of, this is what I want to represent as filled up with the and fullness. And I may have to adjust these a little bit, but there we go. I will do some close-up pictures at the end of this video. I just want to thank you guys if you have lasted this long throughout the video with this process. This whole painting was probably 1.5 months in the making, which, you know, sounds about right when you're trying to work things through. But I'm very happy with this. I hope you like it too. Be sure, if you feel the need or want, to please comment and let me know what you think. And I also want to thank Estella Banks for the stencil, for my inspiration to do this piece. Thank you so much, Estella. I love your work here. The rest of you guys have a wonderful and blessed day, and stay tuned. I will have more videos to come. Bye, guys. Love ya.